An elective yoga course relieves sore muscles and test anxiety at Summit High. Phil Lindeman, Krystal, 93 News. First, Breckenridge Town Council takes its annual budget retreat this week to discuss the general fund for 2019. On the agenda is continued funding for a $53 million water plant now under construction and transportation, including a long-delayed in-town parking structure. Also on the agenda is funding for early childhood care and town-supported broadband known as fiberhoods. The town's budget surplus is $22.5 million this year, with a proposed surplus of $27.5 million next year. Staff hopes to make up a $5 million shortfall from 2017. Head honchos at every Summit ski area remind you to vote this November, and at least 3 want you to vote yes on Measure 1A. At the annual COO breakfast last week, executives with Copper, Breckenridge, and A Basin all showed vocal support for 1A. That is a 10-year, $8.8 million mill levy increase to fund community programs like wildfire mitigation and early childhood care. Opponents say the bill lumps too many disparate programs into one bill. Last week was the first candidate forum of the November election, and candidates made several claims that demand fact-checking. Sheriff's candidate Derek Woodman said turnover at the sheriff's office is 70% right now, up from 10% historically, and incumbent Jamie Fitzsimons never rebuked the claim. Here is 1A opposition Kim McGahey talking about the county budget.
The county already passed a large tax increase several years ago, and it's still funding a lot of these issues, and it will continue to fund them for a couple more years before it sunsets. The county has a $20 million surplus.
And here is 1A proponent, Tamara Drangstveit, about how that bill will work.
1A is a temporary mill levy. It would last 10 years, and it will generate about $8.8 million annually for 5 different things.
All this week, Krystal 93 investigates these and other claims so you know what's true and false on Election Day. Tune in tomorrow at 4 and 5 p.m. for our first report on turnover in local law enforcement. Yoga is coming under fire at schools across the nation for blurring the line between religion and exercise. Yoga is an elective course at Summit High School, where health and PE teacher Melanie Egbert says students love the benefits.
I like to provide that opportunity for my students to get away from their screens, not always thinking that there's an assignment or something they have to read or do, and just focusing on, how can I better myself?
At Summit High, students learn about the history of yoga, including its spiritual origins, but that is not part of the curriculum.
Our whole goal is to teach them the poses and how to improve your flexibility, how to release the tension in your muscles and feel calmer mentally.
Students tell Egbert yoga helps with flexibility, attention, test anxiety, and simple relaxation. In sports, the Rockies got knocked out of the playoffs by the Brewers yesterday, 6-0 at Coors. Also yesterday, the Broncos lost to the Jets, 24-16. Tonight, the Redskins play the Saints on Monday Night Football. Kickoff is 6 p.m. on ESPN. And in local sports, brought to you by Wilderness Sports, over the weekend, the Summit High mountain bike team finished 4th out of 6 teams at the conference championships in Eagle. Sophomore Ty Lee Smith placed top 5 for varsity girls, and freshman Lassie Konechny finished 2nd for JV boys, beating nearly 150 other riders. State championships are in 2 weeks in Durango. All Summit High teams are off until tomorrow, when girls volleyball plays Vale Christian and boys soccer faces Glenwood Springs. Phil Lindeman, Krystal, 93 News.